Jamiat.
Odwaga.
Vision.
Wiatr.
Команда. حرية.
Tutku.
Jamiat.
Odwaga.
Vision.
Wiatr.
команда. حرية.
Tutku.
Jamiat.
Odwaga.
Vision.
Wiatr.
команда. حرية.
Tutku.
Jamiat.
Odwaga.
Vision.
Wiatr.
Hello everybody, thank you so much for being here with us. My name is Artur Zaborski and I am the Vice Director for the International Cooperations here in Warsaw Film School. And today I have our great guests with me, the people who are the part of the school community for years. So on my left, Tadeusz Lysiak, Oscar-nominated director, who happened to be Oscar-nominated with the film made here in Warsaw Film School. And right now our great lecturer, so hello Tadeusz.
Hello, pleasure to be here as always.
And we have here with us as well Arya Tahtas, our student from Iran, our student that actually right now is trying to graduate the second year, right?
Yes.
Yes, so thank you so much for joining us as well.
Thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Are you gonna graduate?
We'll see. I'll try.
So guys, if you have any questions, just write them on the chat box below our transmission. I can see it here on my telephone, so whatever you want to ask, whatever you want us to discuss, whatever you want us to answer, please feel free to just share with us. I will ask the question and I will address it to Tadeusz or to Arya. But before we're gonna answer your questions, let me just ask some basic things. So Tadeusz, starting from you, tell us a little bit about Warsaw Film School. Warsaw Film School from your perspective, the perspective that combines both the graduate and the lecturer right now.
Oh, it's a big question, you know, because these are like two very separate parts of my life. I came here in 2016 as a student.
10 years ago, anniversary.
Actually, it is. It is an anniversary. That's so cool. I didn't think about that, but yeah. And I came here because the school was recommended to me by some of my friends that were already studying here. Also, you know, I live in Warsaw, so it was like kind of a natural way to start learning filmmaking in my home city. But also I heard a lot of good stuff about the school. The fact that it's focused on the practicality of making movies rather than just theory and, you know, like big lectures about the history of cinema. Obviously, this is something that we have here, and it's a lot. There's a lot of classes like that, but the school mostly focuses on the practice, you know, and this is something I wanted to do. I wanted to experience making movies, not only talking about movies, you know, and this is a perfect place to be when you want to do that. So actually, this is what happened. So I was very pleasantly not surprised, but I realized that it wasn't not only recommendation from my friends, but also like it was true, and it is true. You have to make a lot of movies, little, maybe sometimes bigger movies throughout the studies. You have to finish each year with your annual film that lasts around like 15 minutes. And these films, these short films, they can get you to places. You know, the school sends the films to film festivals all around the globe. You can experience, you know, like sharing your film with the viewers for the first time. So it's like probably the biggest lesson you can get. So in general, I would say my experience here as a student was great. It was like, these are tough studies, you know, because you have to make a lot, you have to work a lot, but they give you also a lot, you know, like you end the studies with 3 movies on your account already. Probably if you're lucky enough or good enough, they are already like moving around the world, you know, on the festivals, and you have your basic portfolio already after finishing the school. So it's great. And it happened to me also, you know, like especially with my second year movie, The Dress, which got, as you mentioned, which was nominated for an Oscar. And suddenly all the dreams, you know, came true, and it started my career, you know. First, my career as a filmmaker, but second, my career as a lecturer, because that's after this film, after I graduated, chancellor of the school approached me and said that, asked me if I want to do lectures at the school, which is also, I think, very cool and good about the school. The fact that there are many, I don't know, around 4 or 5 maybe, young lecturers like me that are teaching even younger filmmakers, you know, how to make movies. And it's also very interesting because, you know, like you not only have the opportunity to meet, you know, grand big masters, but also like a little less of the masters, but also like filmmakers, young filmmakers that are making their way through the industry. And I think it's a great dialogue, you know, because suddenly you have this opportunity to like with somebody almost your age, you know, very close, and it's a different experience. I had it, and my students now have it, and I cherish it. I think it's amazing.
I think that is very important, actually, that this exchange between the generation here is very much present. That, as you said, we can take something from the representatives of the different generations, the older one, but also the younger one. I think that combined together can really learn people a lot. So, Arya, let me ask you the question: how it happened that actually the person from Iran decided to come to Warsaw Film School? How did you get the knowledge about the existence of the school, and what drove you actually to fill the application?
All right, so I was very, very much in love with the idea of studying films, and I wanted to do that. And to just put it short, I found the opportunity and the chance to do it here. Of course, I did a research about the school before coming here. I found some of the earlier students of USF, and I talked with them. And as I talked with them, I just realized more and more, and this is the place that I want to be, because first of all, I realized about the great community of filmmakers in Warsaw specifically, and also the great cinematography festival here in Poland, Camera Image. I saw the films that the students made, and all of these factors were creating a great momentum for me to decide about it. And I have never had a day actually regretting a decision, and it's just great for me to be here.
That's really great to hear. To all of you guys who just joined our webinar, I just want to remind you that you can ask our guests your questions. You can just easily put them in the chat box below our transmission. We're going to ask them during our meeting. Before we're going to continue our conversation, I would like to show the people who are here, who are online with us, how Warsaw Film School looks like. So let us just present the short video that can give you the vibe of the school. So that was the short introduction to Warsaw Film School. You can see how the school looks like. You can see how many things actually is happening here every day, I would say. Going back to Arya, going back to your story, because we have a lot of candidates. We have a lot of people interested in studying in Warsaw Film School from all over the world, but a lot of them is a little bit afraid, for example, of visa process, which of course is kind of complicated, especially for the people from outside European Union. We know the restrictions, we know what's going on. Could you just tell us briefly about you overcoming this challenge? Was it totally difficult to get the visa to Warsaw to study in Warsaw Film School for you? And did you get any help from the school to just overcome this process?
Well, that's a very good question, because I can imagine that this would be a very important thing and a source of really frustration sometimes. For me, I have to say that I applied through the embassy in Tehran, and it went pretty smooth. They were very much collaborative with my application. There were certain forms that I had to submit, and from there it just went normal. I would say there was no problem. I got my visa the first time I applied. And during this process, I was in touch with the school, and that was a great help for me, because I could get so when you apply for the visa from the Polish embassy, they required certain documents that is supposed to be issued from the school. And the school was almost immediately sending me those documents, and having those just helped me to be issued visa for the first time. And I have to mention that they were not just giving me documents, they were really in touch with me. So that's the important thing. So it was for me that they care and they supported me during this process.
That's really good to hear. So as you can see, guys, it's not that complicated. Don't be afraid, just apply easily, and you can count on the help of the people from the school. We will not leave you alone with all of this complicated process. The question from the chat box, actually I think that both of you can somehow answer this question, because it's really interesting. The question is, what does the integration between Polish and English students look like? I think that, Arya, you can answer this question from the perspective of the student, but Tadeusz, you can also add something from the perspective of this integration between, for example, Polish lecturers and international students. So, Arya, please go first.
I love to answer that question, because I have so many Polish friends in the school.
You even speak Polish a little bit right now.
I'm trying to learn, and you know, when you're talking about integration, it really depends on who you are. So in general, what I can say is that studying film, I'm a cinematography student. So from the day one, we really start to work in group. So you have no other choice but to work with people, to ask for help, to help them. And it's not like a subject that you sit in a solitary room and you study, right? Like other subjects when you go to university. And it just happens very organically, I would say. Regarding generally Polish culture, I have never had a bad experience in my communication with them. You're coming, of course, to a different culture, and you need to learn that a little bit. It's not gonna be working the way your specific culture is working. So in my case, I'm coming from Iran, and it's a bit different. But as long as you are there, you're working with people, you get the chance to meet with them. There is, I would say, there's no limit in the people who you could be friend with and who you could meet. Maybe later on I would talk about who I met through the school, and for me it's still surprising. I would never thought that I could meet such a people and receive such a warm and welcoming you know, be received so well from them.
And Tadeusz, what would you add for that? From the perspective of the lecturer, what do you observe in the school? Do you see that actually there is this integration between international and Polish students, or are they rather staying separated?
No, I think they are integrated, and it's great to see. Like I think of Warsaw Film School as some kind of a family, you know. Like it's these are artistic studies, so there's not a lot of students. It's not like big, you know, university with like hundreds or thousands of students. Yeah, it's basically one building, and we all, you know, like move around to this one building and a couple of others, but most of the classes happen in this main building. So every student is there, and we all integrate, you know, on the corridors, in the hall, outside, you know, cigarette breaks, obviously, and people are just talking, you know, especially since they are all connected with one passion and love, which is cinema. So obviously, what I see when I walk around. And from my experience when I was a student, like it doesn't matter if you're, you know, from international studies or Polish studies, you all speak the language of cinema and you all love it, you know, like so you talk about it all the time. And you have friends from international studies, you have friends from Polish studies, sometimes you have exams together, right? A lot of times actually. The lecturers, some of them, you know, like are doing classes for both. Like me, I do that, you know, for both the Polish students and international students. I also have exams together, both of the studies. So you know, like it's all big integration campus, I would say.
That's true.
That's
and
great.
I have to say, for you know people who want to apply, the parties here, amazing.
Thank you so much
That's
for the
true.
question. Just as a short reminder for the people who just joined our webinar, you can ask a question in the chat box below the transmission. Feel free to ask about anything. But guys, parties are great. Parties in Poland are absolutely fabulous. We all know that. But there is not a lot of time for parties when you are the student of Warsaw Film School, because it's a hard work, as we all know. So tell us a little bit about this subject. Like actually, how does it look like in the school? How actually what are the courses? What are the subjects of the classes that were, for example, important for you, Arya, and for you, Tadeusz,
Okay.
as for the lecturer? Tell us a little bit about your approach to the classes that you teach and what is important for you to pass to the students. Arya, go first.
So you have to consider that I'm a cinematography student, so my courses are different from the directing ones, though we have some common courses. But I would say that in the first year, our schedule was really packed with the etudes that you have to make. So we have several etudes that you need to go through them and pass each one of them. And that's how I remember the first year. Of course, we had...
Maybe let's name them, because this is very important. We have 4 etudes, right, that you have to do during the year. The first one is light, the second one is conversation, the third one is erotic, and the fourth one is 7 shots, which is the silent film, mute film, right?
It's dialogue-less, so it's... And this is what consume you here during the first year, I would say. And there are some, of course, for the cinematography students, some classes dedicated to light and especially working with camera. And we kind of also have some theoretical classes such as the contemporary cinema, which was with you. We have the...
Which was great.
It was really amazing, and actually that's one of the things about the integration process, because I was invited by Artur in the first year to a film festival actually in the summer in Poland, and I was a speaker. And just imagine being in another country and going to a film festival and talk in front of the audience of Poles, and it was such a pleasure for me to do that. So the second year is more like working, not necessarily for the etudes, but you have to get ready for your annual film, which is giving you more time to do some preparation. And also there are some theoretical and practical classes like the first year.
Thank you so much, Tadeusz.
I have to say that, like as I mentioned before, this school is mostly not only but mostly focused on the practicality of making movies, and that's what I try to do as a lecturer. My main classes that I do, because I do a lot, I supervise annuals, like I have like classes for postgraduate studies, but my main studies for both Polish students and international students are called blocking workshops. So these are basically little film sets, I have to say. Like the students work in groups. They have to recreate a scene from an existing movie or a TV show. Like we give them the script, but they have to maybe not recreate it, but shoot it their own way. You know, make the blocking, the staging of it all, how they want to do it. Even though I don't know, it's Fight Club or Pulp Fiction, you know, but they do it their own way, and we set basically full-on big film sets there for the students. We have like Video Village, we have Dolly, we have 2 cameras, we have sound, and we do that throughout each class is one group directing or making their own scene like that, while me and Filip Pasternak, the DOP that's making the classes with me, we are just supervising, giving little advice here and there, you know, all practical, you know, like even very simple stuff like how to communicate with the crew, how to behave on the set, you know, like how to manage tasks and people, and that's what we do. And then at the end of the semester, we watch, you know, the finished product, and we judge the effect of their work. So that's what I always try to do here, and I believe this is how you can learn the most, you know, by actually making movies, making movies, you know. That's the best way to learn. So that's my focus.
I think that it's also very interesting and very cool that actually you can see how the student develops, because when you compare the film from the first year with the film from the second year and the third year film, you can see actually that the student really crossed some path and managed to achieve something, some skills.
Yeah. That's like a source of a big pride to me, since I'm also, as I mentioned, I also supervise annual films, you know, the big ones that you make after each year, you know, helping the students first come up with an idea for a film, then, you know, develop the idea into the script, and then helping them, you know, throughout the pre-production and production and post-production of that film, and then seeing them, the students, you know, achieving their goals, being at film festivals, you know, doing Q&As, you know, like receiving nominations, awards. This is like, sometimes I feel, you know, like a proud father, you know, of children. Like it's amazing for me. It builds me as a person, and as a filmmaker, you know, trying to push them a bit to right direction. A lot of times they say, no, you're not right, at first, you know, but then, you know, you try to convince them, you know, obviously they're making their own films, so at the end it's their decision, but, you know, pushing them into the right direction and then seeing that I was right is great, but also seeing them, you know, achieving a lot. That's probably like when I speak about myself. Sometimes when I introduce myself to other people, I tend to say that I'm 50% director and 50% lecturer. Like this is actually a big part of my life. So let's not make it about me, but I just want to say that it's a big part of my life, and I love it, and I love to see students, you know, like go up
Mhm.
You know, it's amazing.
I think that it's very important that you said that, because I think that it also shows how the relations between students and lecturers here look like. That it's not like that we treat ourselves as the lecturers here and
Yeah.
students lower, but we just
Yeah.
try to be equal and support each
No.
other. I'm glad that you mentioned about the annual films, because actually we received a question from the website of Warsaw Film School, and this is the question that is connected with annual films. The question is about how the whole process of making the film look like, and where the students can get the equipment, and how actually the crews look like. So maybe Tadeusz, you're gonna start from the perspective of the supervisor. You can just
Mhm.
introduce us a little bit, and then Arya, you can
Absolutely.
say about your own experience of making the annual films.
Mhm. So basically, as I said, you have to make an annual film at the end of each year, and how it happens is that you're assigned with a supervisor around the end of the first semester, and from that moment on, you work with that supervisor on your idea. First, you present the idea to the supervisor. We always try to work with you, not against you. So if we don't, cinema and all art is very subjective. So sometimes even if I don't feel that idea is something that I would love to watch or do or whatever, it's not in my, let's say, taste, but when I see a potential in it, that it can be something for somebody, maybe even if it's not for me, I try to work with that and like help develop that idea. But sometimes when I see that the idea is, is gonna be, for example, very hard to make with, little budget of a student film, and a lot of times I have this a problem with especially first year students, because they write big ideas and films which are not possible to make with little budget. So that's where I say, listen, maybe put it aside, make it as your full feature when you finish the school, but now let's come up with a more simple idea. But when we actually settle on one of the ideas, we then try to work on the script. I mean, the students, they work on the scripts, they send us, new versions and new drafts. We give them notes, we meet, in the school, outside the school. It's like, I don't know, kind of like a mentor-student relationship more than just a lecturer and a student, You can call us anytime you want. Sometimes we don't answer because we are working or like we're doing stuff, but my students call me all the time, like actually like a lot of times I need to pick up a phone for a student. It's awesome. And then we work on that, and then we help them when we actually say that the script is finished, then we help them preparing the entire shoot, like gathering the crew. The crew is mostly 99% of the crew is always other students, from other departments, the same departments, your friends. Sometimes these are like people outside. Sometimes you hire professional people also on your student films if you have money for it and the need for that. For example, a professional gaffer, right? But it's very rare. Like when I shoot that Res, the film that got me to the Oscars, it was like 99.9% students, and then only 3 professional actors and 1 professional gaffer, and that's it. We were cooking food for each other. You have to try to get it. And in terms of, and then it's very important. Like the next step, even before preparing the entire production, when you finish the script, and it's very awesome about the school, is the fact that there's a big exam at the end of second semester or in the middle of the second semester, what is called pitching exam, and you have to basically pitch your idea to big committee of lecturers and teachers and other students that gather in the cinema hall, in a screening room, and you have to pitch your film. And after that exam, the school, the committee, and the chancellor of school decides how much money each project is gonna get. It's very democratic, believe it or not, because we all vote on it, and the committee is around 15 to 20 people, like filmmakers, and that's how you get money. Obviously, it's always gonna be student budget. We don't have. So sorry guys, but we don't have millions of dollars for your first annual films. but it is something that you can work with. You can, like pay for the transport, for the equipment if you need it outside of the school. But we have equipment, and it's all you need basically. We have light, we have cameras, we have lenses, dolly, everything you need. Like big good cameras, we have red cameras, Ursas. So it's a big warehouse full of equipment. The only problem is sometimes, like the schedule collides with other students. Like everybody wants to shoot a movie, so we need to figure out when are you gonna shoot your film in comparison to your friends. So that's when sometimes we need to, basically pay for something from the rental to get it. But you don't need it. If you just work around the schedule, you're fine with the things we have here in the school. So yeah, that's what you do. Then you shoot your film throughout the break, basically between the years. And then on the very beginning of the next year, academic year, there's a big exam, and we show the films. We watch them all in the cinema. We have our own beautiful cinema in the school, and you can hear, and this is probably the most important aspect of these exams, you can hear the feedback of the entire committee. We do it publicly, we do it with our microphones.
And without mercy.
Sometimes without mercy, but it's not because we like to torture anybody, with our view and with our critique. It's about being as objective as we possibly can, even though it's not possible to be fully objective with art. How can you be? Because maybe you're basically giving a bad grade to a next Picasso, to a next Tarantino, right? Maybe your mind as a lecturer is too small to comprehend what the student is showing you. So that's why we try to separate ourselves from what we see and what we say about the films. Try to critique what's objectively good or wrong with the film. It's a very hard job to be a lecturer and to like in a school like that. But I really believe that we do so, and sometimes it means that we're gonna say a lot of critique, because we can see that there are mistakes being made, and a wise person can get that critique and be better, with your next. That's what I was doing as a student.
But I think that this is one of my absolutely favorite moments in Warsaw Film School, so the moment of the exams, when we watch the film, and as you said, when we hear this critique, because I think that even though we are criticizing and you can hear a lot of elements that actually you didn't manage, you are still in the safe zone. So you still can be sure that it's not the harm that is about to be done to you, but this is all about learning. It's all about developing.
That's what's gonna happen to you in the when you're gonna have your film career, after the school. You're gonna be critiqued by people like our best film critic in Poland. You're gonna make a movie. Maybe it's gonna be great, but maybe it's not gonna be so good, and everybody is gonna say bad things about it. So you have to also be prepared for that. Basically, being a filmmaker is psychologically is a very demanding and very hard thing to do, because you need to open yourself to others, and then you have to let others be like, I don't like that, and that's horrible. It's very difficult. So you need to have tough skin, and we also teach that here.
That's true. Arya, tell us a little bit about the process from the perspective of a student.
Well, I have to say that this process of making annual film is different, first of all, from each year. So for example, now I'm second year, and that's completely a different experience for me when I was in the first year. So you gonna bring a lot of knowledge and practical skills that you kind of get in the first year to the second year. So the way it works is that you have to, as a cinematography student, you need to find a director to collaborate with. So I hope that answers to the questions of how do you find crews. You basically meet people from the school and you make a team with them. Directors will find a cinematographer, and cinematographer also tries to shape their crew, whoever works in the light department or the camera department, and then that's how you kind of manage the team. So that's the basic thing. Then the director will write the script, and of course there are some sessions with the supervisor. Both cinematographers and the directors, they have supervisor, and then afterwards they start to do the pre-production of the film. So for example, I can tell you what am I doing right now. I am working with another Iranian students in the school, and we have a script and a supervisor. We already had meetings with them, and we are receiving some fundings from the school. And based on that funding, we are trying to, right now, I'm trying to do some tests with lenses and with the cameras, show them to the director to see if that's something that they're looking for, and it's like matching their stories. Then at the same time, I'm trying to get together a crew of people who would help me. We are working with the production. We're trying to find the locations in Warsaw. Of course, school is also a great location. It has a lot of potentials to make something nice inside of it. We are also shooting some parts of our second year film inside of the school. And of course, it's free if you're a student here. So, and then that's how we're going through this process. Regarding the equipment, school is providing us with a lot of things, a camera, lenses, and also the light. Since they are also giving us funding, we are actually renting some cameras from outside of the school this year, and I'm renting Arri Alexa Mini and some Leica R lenses, which are pretty cool. And we are getting the lights from the school. So that's how we are managing our budget. And I'm very excited actually about this film, and I'm hoping we can do something great. We are inviting some actors from France, as far as I know. They're gonna come here, they're gonna stay in Warsaw. That's also a great thing about the school, which is like one train away from Germany, or like if you want to later on to move abroad and also invite collaborators to here, it's just super easy. So yeah, that's how it's going.
Arya, you mentioned that right now we are working on the project with another Iranian student, but of
Yes.
course we have the students from all over the world. We have
Yes.
students from all of the continents, and they are here. They are trying to somehow, be introduced to the Polish culture and make friends with the other people. Tell us
Okay.
a little bit about living in this international environment. Was it like hard for you at the beginning to adapt, or was it something very easy? Just introduce us to this whole process of a person coming from abroad to Poland.
Well, realistically, coming to Poland for me was a little bit in the beginning rough, because I'm coming from Iran. It's a pretty warm country. Then I arrived and I saw like -degree. I've never seen such a cold weather. So I would say you need to be open to the experience here. There were some moments where, like in the beginning, where the exams were stressing me, or maybe the weather was not in the best shape. But what I can see in this almost 2 years, that every month, every let's say academic semester, some big part of it was improved. So I gradually found friends who would also help me in like my, as you said, sometimes the matters are not necessarily with the school, but like you have to do some, go to the immigration office, and my friends from the school are also helping that. That's one thing that I learned little bit of Polish. So when I go to a shop right now, I try to speak. And actually, I get along very well. I'm also very much interested in Warsaw as a city itself, because as a student, you would never have a problem, for example, of transportation. Like you can just go wherever you like. In the first year, I barely remember taking like a taxi because it was just so easy to go everywhere, even in the suburbs. So going to the film locations, it's not a problem. And I also very much like the general culture when it comes to meeting people in Poland, because I never had a problem. I've always received people as polite and understanding of my situation. That was the most important thing, because as an Iranian, I had some issues in my own country, and then I was here so much backed up and so much received so much support, and that's truly amazing when you are just here by yourself, not your family, and you kind of get support from the people who are like not necessarily close as your family, but still they support you so much.
That's really great to hear, and I hope that your experience will be only like that. Guys, for those of you who just joined us, please remember that you can ask us anything in the chat box below our transmission. And as Arya said, I believe that in terms of transportation, the food and things like that, it's pretty cool here in Poland. Just remember that we have also the people working as a staff here in Warsaw Film School who can actually help you with any kind of issues that you are facing. If you need to open the bank account, if you need to get the apartment, book something or somewhere, you can always come to us, you can call us, you can send us an email, and we will try to do our best just to help you to solve any issues that are happening to you. Tadeusz, let me just ask you the question from the chat box. What is the difference for you as a person who teaches here, who is connected with the Warsaw Film School for 10 years? What is the difference between the new course and the old one?
Oh, that's a very interesting question, because it's not even about what's the difference between the courses, because the main essence stayed the same. As you mentioned before, for the first year you have to make 4 2-minute long exercises that are all on given subject, like the light, conversation, erotica, 7 shots. So it stayed the same. I had the same. So it's actually awesome, you know, to see how people, you know, face the challenge now, the same challenge that I was facing when I was a student. A lot of teachers that I had are still teaching. Some of them are new, like I am new, you know, so I try to bring something new to the course. But for sure, what we are facing now is not even the problem of how the course is changing, but how the world is changing around us. And what I mean by that is the fact that, you know, the dreaded AI problem, you know, and it's not maybe such a big problem right now, but we know that it's kind of you know, problem in the future, you know, because suddenly a lot of things are going to be done by AI. So our students need to acknowledge that fact, that they need to be try to be even more original than before. You know what I mean? Like they need. You're not gonna be able to be a filmmaker if you're just gonna make simple, mediocre movies, however harsh that might sound, because very soon these type of films are gonna be made by artificial intelligence. So you need to be original, but that's what people seek nowadays as viewers. You know, that's why A24 is such a big hit nowadays. You know, everybody wants to watch like a new A24 movie, because it's always something new, something fresh, something original, and that's what we're trying to do now during the courses, is to actually push students a little bit to explore, you know, like fresh ideas, new original ideas, you know, like to make something more than just let's say a normal typical film, you know, explore with the form maybe even, and or maybe combine stuff that were never combined before, you know, because that's what AI cannot do right now so well. So it's actually like if you want to be a filmmaker right now, I would say that you have to be even more of a madman that we had to be, you know, back in like 10 years ago. It was already a crazy thing to say, I'm gonna be a filmmaker. A lot of families were like saying, no, 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 you have to be a lawyer, you know, why filmmaker? No money, it's, you know, nothing. So you had to be a madman before, but now with AI, like you need to be even more crazy, and that we try to somehow like you know, change the course a little bit to acknowledge that fact. We have also courses about AI, how to use it as a tool to make something original, but you know, just as a tool, and you know, like we're trying to focus on that because it's a big risk for the future. So yeah, that's what's changing. Not even the course itself. The world is changing. You know.
That's true, but what you said, I believe that the school is really trying to answer to all of these needs, and I also believe that the school is trying to provide the opportunities to exercise with these new techniques. Like for example, right now when we are here in the studio photo, this is how this place is called. This is the part of the Warsaw Film School. Just next to us there is the film set. The film set directed by our counselor Maciej Stasicki, and they are shooting the 1-minute episodic TV series. And this is the diploma for our third year actors who are about to graduate. And this is their diploma project. So as you can see, there is a lot of things happening here all of the time, and I believe that students are always invited and always welcome on that kind of events. So actually, Arya, just following the subject, you mentioned at the beginning that you had the opportunity to meet a lot of interesting people here in the school. Could you speak a little bit about that in terms of the fact that Warsaw Film School is not only the regular program that you teach the students every year, but there is also a lot of possibilities to take part in, for example, masterclasses or film festivals like Street Fiesta.
So when you are working in Warsaw, you will meet so many people who are working in the industry. For me, as the cinematography student, many of these people are willing to share of their knowledge to you just because you're a student. They don't care where you're from or you don't speak Polish. They just receive you very well, and that's what happened to me. For example, right now, I'm invited by one of our teachers here on a set that is actually making a documentary for TVP, a Polish television. And I'm working with industry level gaffer. I'm in the light department. And one of our other classmates is working in the camera department, and he's a second AC. And we're just working on the industry level. In my second year study in Warsaw Film School, it's just incredible for me. And before that, I was also had the experience of when we had the master classes here. I had the experience of going and talking to the well-known cinematographers, not only in Poland but in the world, such as Piotr Sobocinski or Andrzej Bartkowiec was here, and I managed to go to some of the sets that they were shooting for even several days, and it's incredible that how much I learned from seeing them working, and they led me to ask questions while they were like making $1 million film, right? So it's just amazing for me. Of course, you need to work very hard. Of course, if you're just coming and expecting that the school will give you that without working hard, that's not gonna happen. But still, I think if you are a hard worker, if you really love films, if you are really willing to go through some sleepless nights, traveling to maybe another city just because there is a film set there, you will be received very welcome. So that's how I think about it.
Thank you so much, Arya. Guys, before I'm going to let you go, I just need to ask you one more question. Actually, Tadeusz, I will start with you because you are the part of the committee that accepts the newcomers to Warsaw Film School. So actually, if people want to go to directing, they have to deal with you
They have
at
to.
the beginning. So actually, talking from this perspective, what would you recommend to the people who watch us and who would like to apply to film directing here in Warsaw Film School? What would be your advice? What candidates, what kind of people are you looking for? What kind of features or what kind of experience the candidate should have to be accepted to Warsaw Film School?
Well, you don't have to have almost any experience. You know, we're gonna teach you. We're gonna give you experience. We don't really need anything from you other than the fact that you love cinema and art. And it might sound very simple and basic, but believe me, I'm part of the committee for years now. And a lot of times people come here, you know, they don't really know what they want, if it's their thing or no, if they are interested or no, they like music, you know, it's not, we don't feel the passion. We need passionate film viewers, you know. We want you to watch films, and it's horrible to say, but a lot of times people come here and they just don't do that, you know. So how can we get them to school if they're not even watching the films? So it needs to be your love, not something you like, not something like a hobby you do, like, you know, pastime, and like, you know, just something that it's nice, but I don't know, you know. You need to actually love cinema as a viewer, not as a filmmaker. You need to watch movies, go to cinemas, also to the cinema, watch movies in the cinema, but also, you know, participate in other art events, or like go to the museums, be a little bit interested in, because this is what film is, right? It's a combination of all of the art forms, other art forms. So be a little bit interested in the painters, I don't know, like theater, music, video games, whatever, but we need to see that you are interested and passionate about it. You don't have to know all of the dates. We're not going to ask you what date was the premiere of Citizen Kane, right? Mm-hmm. But if you know Citizen Kane, if you have watched it, and you can tell us one or two sentences about it, or some other film, you know, we don't even, like, if you don't know one film during the exam, the entry exam, we can ask you another, but we need to see that you actually watch movies and you're interested in that. Know the directors, you know. A lot of times people come here and we ask them, who is your favorite director? Such a simple question. It should be the most simple question you can ask, you know, for somebody who wants to be a director, for example. Who's your favorite director? A lot of times, 80% of times nowadays, previously it was different. Nowadays, 80% of the time is like, I don't know, I don't really know the names, you know. And it's not even about knowing names per se. It's about feeling that you feel passionate about something. Because when I was interested in filmmaking, when I was 16, I was still in high school, I was like devouring the films. I knew the names of the directors not because I had to learn them for some stupid exam, but because, you know, by learning their name and what they do, other films, I can like see the entire filmography and how they developed as artists, and how I can get inspired by it, you know. So it's very simple. Just watch movies. If you want to get here, if you're gonna be at the exam, if you feel like it's not your thing, it's just something, you know, like a little bit maybe you're interested, I would say don't waste your time. Don't come here. It's not for you. It's only for people who are in love with this art form. And with art in general. And if you are in love with film as a viewer and in art, then come here and you're gonna get here. You're gonna have a place. It's not gonna be a problem. But you really ask yourself that question, and that's all, you know.
So passion is what counts the most. This is what we are looking for, guys. Remember about it. The passion is something that both of these people next to me that they express, and they really love cinema. You can tell that. So Arya, Before we're gonna finish, one more question to you. There is always
Sure.
this imaginations that we have. Like you had some imagination about Warsaw Film School as a place that you are going, as a place that you are about to study in, and then you came to Warsaw Film School, and then you have to like compare your imagination with what is really happening here. I'm super curious about this moment. What, for example, surprised you about Warsaw Film School? What what did you meet here that actually you didn't expect to meet?
Well, I'm not the kind of person who really imagine things that much beforehand. I would say that I received more than what I was expecting. As I said, like it's still difficult for me to like point a specific moment that I was surprised. I was not really like ever surprised in any way that it was differing my expectations, but I was just surprised because it was pretty nice, pretty cool, right? For example, the first time that we screened our film in the real cinema, which people go and watch films there, and it was just reserved for our exam, so that people can. It's actually in the school promise, so that was pretty cool and surprising for me. The first time that I realized that maybe nobody is going to make the film for me, and I have to try hard to make it good. That was something that I learned from here, and I would say more it's things that you learn, that how you should be, how you should work within the school or even in the larger scale within the industry. And the most important thing was that you have to be initiative person. You have to take the matters into your own hand, try to work with other people, learn from them as much as you can, and the opportunity is there to do that.
So guys, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you so much for all of the questions. If you have any more questions, if you would like to know anything more, just don't hesitate to contact us. You can find all of the contact information at our school, warsawfilmschool.com. You can just easily approach us by email, or you can easily call us. We are here to answer anything you would like to ask us. And feel free to join us here in Warsaw Film School. Feel free to apply. As you can see, it's not that difficult as one can imagine. And as you can see by this conversation, I believe we are the school that is really passionate about the cinema, and we want to share this passion with you. Thank you so much, Tadeusz. Thank you so much, Arya.
Thank you.
And as I said, you can meet both of these guys here in the building of Warsaw Film School. So don't hesitate to do that. Thank you.
See you. Thank you.
Tutku.
Idziemy jed.
Odwaga.
Vision.
Wiatra.
Команда. حرية.
Tutku.
Idziemy jed.